Hello, friends, and welcome. I'm Sarah Liz, and I'm really excited to share this with you. This is something new and different. On Saturday, so a couple of days, April 27th, I will be hosting the Mystery Craft Along with my friend Lynn over at LV Handcrafted and some of our other crafty friends. I have participated in this live stream before, but I have never been in charge, and I'm so excited. So here's the cool thing. In a Mystery Craft Along, everybody gets to craft right along with us. We usually make like a fun fold card or a 3D project or something like different and unique, but you don't know what it is until it's done. So you get clues along the way telling you what to do next in each step. And over in the chat, they'll ask, is everybody ready? Put a 1 in there if you're ready. Put a 2 if you're not ready. We leave no crafter behind, all right? And it's fun, right? We take our time, we have some giggles, lots of shenanigans, we laugh at ourselves and at each other. So today, I wanna share just what I cut to prep for the live stream. Here's the thing, I will put all the measurements in the description box below this video, but if you are an experienced crafter, you probably don't need to prep, okay? I typically can make 2 of these cards, whatever project it is, during the live stream because we go kind of slowly. If you're not an experienced crafter, there's plenty of time, okay? And you can cut all your pieces ahead of time if that makes you more comfortable. So for my card, I have prepped using the Echo Park 6x6 Play All Day paper pad. You guys, these are my happy colors. I love, love, love this. And then I've got my extra pieces back here because I cut some of these like a dope. So I'll show you how to do it maybe better than I did and walk you through the pieces. So for piece number 1, I have a half a sheet of cardstock. So it's 11 inches by 4¼ inches. It's just a standard top folding card base size. All right. I am using colored cardstock at 100 pounds. You could use 80 pound very easily. More than 100 and you might have issues with some of the folds. They're just going to get a little bulky. At 65 pounds, it's a little bit flimsy, but I will talk you through something you can do to help bulk that up if that's all that you have. For piece number 2, I have some colored cardstock that is 3¾ inch by 6½ inches. You could use the same color as the card base. That would work just fine. This actually is me pushing outside my comfort zone, but I might end up recutting it later because I struggle with color. That's okay. For step number 3, you need 2 pieces. They are 1 5/8 inch by 4 inches. I know some of us don't like 1/8 of inches, but it's really the only way to make this project from a sheet of 8½ by 11. If you were cutting it down from a 12 by 12, you could avoid that. And I may do a video later showing you how. Leave me a comment below if you're like, Sarah, I need something without those 1/8 of inches. So I'm gonna put this just on the guide on my trimmer. It marks 1/4 inches. Yours probably does too. Most of them do. That 5/8 is just the halfway point between the 1/2 inch mark and the 3/4 inch mark. So I just kind of eyeball it right halfway between those markings. These 2 pieces are optional. If you are using a thin cardstock base, like a 65 pound, you may want to cut these extra layers. What will happen is that we're layering these pieces on top so you get a little more strength in your cardstock. My pattern paper is 65 pound. This is like a white shimmer cardstock that's 65 pound, right? But when you stack them all up, they get a little sturdier. You would need 2 pieces that are 1 3/4 by 4 1/8. So again, you're just gonna go to that 4 inch mark and then halfway between wherever those 1/4 inch markings are to the next stop. All of these extra mat layers are optional and I will list them as optional below. Next, we need 4 more pieces that are the same size as the other rectangles, okay? So they're 1 5/8 inch by 4 inches. You could use the same pattern. You absolutely could use the same pattern, but I thought I would switch it up a little bit. It is important to note that if you have a piece of 6x6 patterned paper, you can get 4 from that piece of pattern paper, but you have to be a little strategic about it, okay? So cut these first. Here's a 4 inch line. I'm going to cut that. and then I can rotate and get this last piece. But you can see how that's a problem with my rainbows. If you want to get all 4 out of a 6x6, you need to use a non-directional pattern. If you want the extra matte layers, I have cut 4 more pieces that are 1 3/4 of an inch by 4/8 of an inch. That is the same size as the white shimmer cardstock we had before. Okay, so essentially I have 6 pieces of pattern paper at the same size and 6 pieces of solid cardstock for mats at the same size. You could do the same 6 colors, the same 6 pattern paper. That would work just fine. For step 5, I have a piece of pattern paper that is 3.5 inches by 3 inches. And then optionally, I have a piece of white cardstock in the same size, that 3.5 by 3 inches. If this piece, okay, the 3 3/4 by 6.5 inch piece of cardstock is dark, you might want a piece of white cardstock. It's going to be where you'll write your greeting. If it's a light colored cardstock, you could absolutely skip that. If you want a mat for this piece of pattern paper, since everything else has that same mat, it's going to be 3 5/8 by 3 1/8. Those are all of the pieces. Again, if you are an experienced crafter, you can probably cut these while we're crafting. You'll have plenty of time. If you're not an experienced crafter, I encourage you to try this out and join along. It's a lot of fun. There's plenty of shenanigans and giggles. And you never know how it's going to turn out, but I am so excited about this fun fold. Okay. I will also link after the mystery craft along to where I found this originally. I thought the woman who taught it did a phenomenal job in the teaching of it. So I definitely want to give her credit and shout out to her. In the description box below and at the end of this video, I will link to the live stream. There's already a placeholder and you can click notify me and it will remind you when it's coming up. So it's 4 p.m. Central on Saturday, April 27th. That's 2 p.m. Pacific. Thank you so much for joining me and I hope to see you Saturday.